Verle and I just got back from a tragic funeral of a 17-year-old whose life was cut off short. The community came out to mourn, to support the family, to bond together. After the funeral, I was chatting with some people, and a woman came up to us, and she's a doctor in a hospital, and she's from Russia. And she told us how she came out of Russia. In the 70s, in order to get out of Russia, you had to have a visa or affidavit from somebody out from abroad. And the moment you had that visa, the moment you asked for request to leave Russia, you lost your job. You became a refusenik. And that's what happened with her family. But the only way they were able to survive was because an uncle of theirs would send them packages, pasilkas. And these packages were items that they could sell in the black market. It was a fur coat, some jeans. And that's what they survived. When she came out, she tried to find that uncle, and she realized there was no uncle. It was somebody who was sending some packages to Jews in Russia and behind the Iron Curtain in order to help them survive in these difficult times, especially those who had applied for visas to go out of the country. It so happens to be that my father was the one who was sending those packages. My father, Rabbi Moshe Levertov, today is his yard site, 17 years ago. And he ran an organization, small underground, literally underground organization. It was in our basement to help Jews behind the Iron Curtain. He grew up in Russia. He was born in Russia, and he grew up in Russia. And his father instilled in him a sense of commitment, a sense of dedication. Even in the most difficult times, they kept Shabbat, they kept kosher. His father was an activist. His father did brisson in Moscow in the 40s. He was arrested because of that. The KGB has files on him. They just recently, yesterday, they translated a document from the highest level, the top people who were closest to Stalin, that there's a whole network of Chassidim from the United States, from Schneersonites, who are trying to overthrow the Soviet Union with their. They pose as yeshivas and schools, and really they have this whole network of trying to overthrow the USSR. Obviously, there was Chassidim who were dedicated to keeping Judaism alive. They weren't interested in overthrowing the USSR. But my grandfather was named in that document, in that report. So my father grew up with his father. He wrote a book about it. Very dedicated to Yiddishkeit, very dedicated to upholding the flames of Torah in Moscow. And then when he came out, he had narrowly escaped in the 40s. And later on, he founded this organization that helped Russian Jews, send them packages to help them sell things in the black market, to survive, to sustain themselves. And eventually they also sent rabbis and rebbetzins posing as tourists to teach and to help people and to teach them how to do shechita, ritual slaughter, and brisson and weddings. And slowly but surely, they got more and more people going into it and teaching people. And finally, in the fall of the Soviet Union, there's hundreds of Jewish centers now that are Chabad Jewish centers based on this operation that my father began with a few colleagues in the 60s. So today's a time I reflect on that, the life of my father's life, and it taught me a very important lesson. It's not always what you tell your children, not necessarily direct communication, although there was quite a bit of that from my father. My father would tell stories and tell us and encourage us and inspire us, but it was also the life he lived. He didn't really care about material life. We never had a new car. It was always a second-hand car. Furniture was also second-hand. He didn't really care about having the latest and best. But when it came to charity, he always gave first. He always gave to charity, to organizations. He was always dedicated in helping others. So he had money for that, but didn't really care about personal, material life. May his soul be a blessing. May he continue to inspire me and my family. And I'm very grateful that my kids and my children are continuing this legacy of my father. He had a lot of nachas from them, nachas from the other grandchildren, and all the dedication and commitment and love went to very good places and really inspired the generations. May we all have a Shana Tova U'Metuka. May we all inspire our children. Shabbat Shalom.